Good morning, afternoon, set for Belmont. Just going to make the second video for the knowledge assessment in the network and collaboration unit. So actually, there is an initial video that got through to part two. There was true and false, got through the first two questions. So we're up to question 3 in part 2. Jim sort of followed and got through this for those that were in class last week. So if you missed that, this is a little catch-up opportunity for you to get the rest of that knowledge assessment done. So we're just looking at question 3 there. So question 3 talks about, there's a bit there in the first questions about vision and mission. So in a sense, what they're talking about is goals, an organisation needing goals. We also need personal goals, I guess, for the people that we work with as individual, even ourselves as workers, having our own personal goals. And so they're talking about, in that question, in the first few true or false questions, the organisational mission statement and vision statement. And for me, certainly both are used in organisations, and I was sort of thinking, well, I don't know if they're interchangeable, are they the same thing? What's the difference? There's a Clear Voice website that just made it a little bit more clearer for me, focused my thinking. So what they're saying is the mission statement focuses on today. So what's going on today, and whereas the vision is focusing on tomorrow, more of those long-term goals. So we're going back to, it's all about goals, I suppose. What's this all about, the mission? What's our vision? What's the purpose of us being here? Why do we exist? What are we all about? What do we do? And the vision is more as that, I guess, that goal and that planning stuff. The idea where I made sense of the vision looking forward. So what are we doing? What are the steps? What are the strategies? What are the objectives? So there's a lot of this language, objectives, goals, strategies, missions, visions. They all fit into that planning sort of framework, which I said was really important. And so, yeah, I guess I'm not getting too bogged down. It says it's all about planning. But I guess that idea of a mission, what motivates us, or as an organisation, the mission helps set the scene. What are we all about? So I've given an example here. As a service, we provide services to create a safer place for people leaving domestic and family violence. So this is what we do. This is what we're all about. Do you like the Wetland Centre? Videoing from here today. Vision. So that's more about the steps that we do to achieve that mission. So that, as we said, that mission was about, we're making the world better for people leaving domestic and family violence. Vision, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to do it? Starting that planning process. So we're going to provide financial, household goods and housing assistance to people leaving domestic and family violence. So starting to fine-tune, all right, we're going to work and make the world better for people leaving domestic and family violence situations. Vision, what are we looking forward? All right, we're going to provide housing, white goods and money. So it becomes a bit more concrete. And I guess there's further planning below that. So what we're going to run a program, we've got to have some goals and objectives. So it's planning. So anyway, we go to that, the true false questions. So the vision of an established network outlines the achievements you will make by meeting your purpose and mission. So that's true. The next one was that the mission of an established network outlines the achievements you will make by meeting the purpose of vision. So that one's false. So the mission isn't about outlining those things that you're going to do in a sense. It's more that broader vision of what we're all about. So it's not really about the actual steps and how we're going to get there. So that's the differentiation. The next one, the purpose of an established network determines why the network exists. So that clear purpose, and that's true. Having an agreed vision and purpose is important for a successful network, and that's true, yes. I guess in any organisation, group, whether it's a network or team within a service, having some clear goals and planning is important. The last one, once a vision and purpose have been agreed, it will not change. That's false. I guess they can always be shaped and tweaked to, make them better if we feel that, the organisation's not going quite doing what it wants to do. It could be done things better, so we do a little bit of a tweak to some of those documents and that wording of those visions and the purpose and the goals and objectives, for example. So it's always about change and doing things better. Question 4 is true or false. So first one's around personal presentation, and that is true. That is important. I don't know, we've spoken about that over various times in the course about I guess not always it's important not to judge books by covers in a sense, but I suppose as a professional worker, you've got to keep that in mind, how you're presenting and the context, and it might change from context to context, obviously. The next one, when you're out there, you're always representing the organisation, whether it's formal or informally, and that is true. People know where you come from, who you're representing, so always being mindful of that. Being prepared to participate promotes a positive image when networking. True. So being willing to have a go. And the last one, social media can influence the perception of your professionalism, and I guess that's almost self-explanatory, but that definitely is true. Social media is important to keep in mind. So we're up to part 3, some sort of matching exercise where you've got a word bank and a category with an example. So the first one is around expanding knowledge of services available. So that's the thing that the worker does. It's about increasing your networks and what's out there and options, which obviously flows down to benefiting your people that you're working with in your organisation if you're keeping up to date and expanding your knowledge. The next one, expanding awareness of service provision, increasing referrals. So that's the organisation. The next one is about feeling safe and valued and of benefit, and that's important for the clients. I guess people need to feel valued, and that's that person-centered approach and strengths-based approach is embedded in that. The next one, individualised care to meet needs. Again, that's important for the client. Collaboration is around the next one, and that's the worker being able to collaborate. Being innovative and flexible, that's the organisation. It's important that organisations are innovative and flexible. The next one, number 2, the correct term for each explanation about specific network structures. So different network structures, we've got an example. So people with similar jobs and they're working together, that's individual. So the next one is about planning and structured, and it's all documented, so that's formal. Technology, and it's about working in a dispersed way, so that's the virtual approach. Working across departments, that's the organisational approach. Unstructured networking, informal approach. So that's very just quick snapshot there. We're up to number 3. So we're talking about specific network structures relevant to the stakeholder. So they've got the stakeholders identified, and we've got to work out the structure. So worker, team leader and manager, they're all organisational. So the next one, Teams, Skype, Zoom, that's the virtual structure. They're saying that if you go to a conference for your own personal and professional development, in a sense, that's an informal structure. So you might go there and learn stuff. It's going to certainly benefit your work, but they're saying that's informal. The memo of understanding is formal. Peer supervision is an individual thing. Number 4, the values and dynamics of collaboration. So we've got a word bank. As they're saying, the strategy, we've got to just match the right strategy to the recommendation. So if you're knowing what you can and you can't do at work and it's all clearly laid out, that's strong articulation or written down of the organisational roles and objectives. So that's the first one. The next one, you've got links with other like-minded organisations. So that's sound relationship building. And a good presence in networks is you're a powerful resource for others. So if you've got a good presence and people come to you, know that they can rely on you, or you've got something to add or input, you're a very good resource in that networking situation. And you get those people that are, very good at networking, very articulate, and often have some good thinking behind strategies, issues, current events, things that impact on workers and clients. So the last one is around the strengths and weaknesses. There's a word bank, a recommendation, and the collaboration risk. So they're saying that there are, in networks and partnerships, there can be strengths and weaknesses. So if someone withdraws from the network, that might be because it's not of benefit. So it's not always of equal benefit. So someone may choose to get out if there's no benefit, or it's benefiting others much more than them in terms of the organisation. So the next one, the collaboration risk. So ensure that feedback is analysed and used. So perhaps poor reporting, if that could be a risk. And the last one, ensure feedback is client focused and demonstrates that networking is valuating to your service. So the answer is the adequacy of service there. So that takes me to the end of the final video for this unit. Hopefully it's useful, and I'll say toodle pips.